stay connected everywhere you go. Fitchburg is on your phone and your tablet and your laptop and TV. Download the app. It's free. Access Fitchburg. This is your city at your fingertips.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Crosby.
And I'm Nick Boucher. We're your hosts for the program that's all about your city, Talking Fitchburg.
Every weekday, we pull together the news, events, and information you need to stay on top of what's happening in the city of Fitchburg.
Find Talking Fitchburg on cable TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and our live stream on the web. Plus, you can find all our headlines and stories on Facebook, YouTube, and our video on demand service. This is your city.
Keep up with Talking Fitchburg and the issues affecting you and your neighbors.
Good morning. The hour of 7 o'clock having arrived, I will call the Community and Economic Development Authority to order. The next item on our agenda is a roll call. Joyce?
Garcia Sierra and Hamilton are both absent with excuse. Hardy. Here. Lattice.
Here.
Lepper.
Here.
Potts.
Here.
Sanders.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. The next item on our agenda is approval of the minutes. We have minutes from June 25th, 2026. Those were included in your packet. And do we have a motion?
I'll motion.
Second.
To approve.
Okay, we have a motion, presumably for approval, and a second. Is there any discussion on those minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, nay. The minutes are approved. Item number 4 is public appearances for non-agenda items. Do we have any members of the public with us for an item not on the agenda? All right, we have no one in the chambers, so I'll close that portion. Item number 5 is resolutions and ordinances. We do not have any resolutions or ordinances in front of us. Item number 6 then is the Fitchburg Revolving Loan Fund Program, and we have the Revolving Loan Fund discussion. I'll turn that over to, I believe, Joyce.
So, as you know, we have talked several times about reviewing the loan fund guidelines. We recently had a business owner reach out to talk about extending their lease. They're in a facility that recently changed hands that has some deferred maintenance. And we kind of went back and forth about options on ways that we could maybe help this business. They're an anchor business. They've been here a long time, and we really would like to keep them. So we were thinking of ways that we might help them as they are a restaurant. So I reached out to Dan, and we kind of brainstormed on a few things, and Dan actually came up with the idea of maybe we would work with the landowner to maybe do some of the improvements that are without the scope of, or outside the scope of their business. So we wanted to kind of bring this back again to just discuss the requests. The money's been sitting there for a long time. I don't think we've used it since COVID, and we have got a lot of requests from some of our restaurants to utilize the funds. So we just wanted to maybe have a brief discussion in the future, I don't think today, on, just reviewing the guidelines, making sure that they're still relevant to today. We did utilize the funds that we had in the revolving loan fund for our COVID program, and it was very successful, and we had 0 defaults because we had an amazing team of Dan and Misty Dodge reviewing the applications. So it's just something that we would like to revisit because we feel like we should really be utilizing those dollars to help our small businesses. So please review the guidelines, and we'll probably have it on the agenda for our next meeting. Dan, do you have anything more to share on that?
I think it would be good in your review to keep in mind that when this loan program was instituted, the concern that the members of this committee had at that time was that we did not want to be seen as promoting alcohol-related events. Restaurants are notorious for failure. There's little chance of success. And so we've turned down we had turned down a number of requests early on for people in the restaurant business, some of whom are still here and doing business in Fitchburg. So not all restaurants and alcohol licensed premises are going to go out of business. But we just didn't, as a city, we didn't want to be seen as promoting that. Now the question that came up this time is, this was a very long-standing restaurant and licensed alcohol facility. It's been a mainstay in the community. It's not a Johnny-come-lately type thing. Is it appropriate for us to put away the things of the past and take a new look at this and say, well, if you've already been shown that you're a successful business establishment, or in this case, place, can we modify the loan program to be more open to the type of business that's being sold? But I think you ought to keep that in mind when you go through the loan program documents and then we make a policy decision going forward at our next meeting.
And just a little, as a resident historian here, when we capitalized the revolving loan fund, it was actually through tax increment district number 3, which is over there by the Oak Bank. That was the Fitchburg Business Park development. And at that time, we had businesses coming to us and saying, hey, is there any assistance that's out there? And we had no program or no resources available. And we had tried to get money through CDBG is typically the source of funds that would capitalize a revolving loan fund, but we never qualified for that because our distress scores were never high enough. So I went to Mike Kerrigan at Ellers and said, hey, can you come up with some ideas of how we could have something available that would be for businesses? And he said, what we could do is we could do a grant from the TID district to the city in CEDA. While TID number 3 was in existence, the money could only be used in the geographic area of TID number 3. But then once the TID district was closed, then we could go citywide. So what we did was we capitalized it with $375,000 in the beginning for it. And then and TID District 3 was very successful. So once we closed it out, then we could go citywide. So we had that money available. Then $200,000 of that $375,000 was moved over to when the venture debt program was launched for science and tech companies, and we needed some money available to participate in that program. That's when we moved or designated $200,000 towards that program. So right now we have approximately $180-some thousand in what's still in our local kind of proceeded to administer for this revolving loan fund, which are the guidelines in the packet. So that's kind of the history of it. But as Dan pointed out, when we first established the guidelines, being good fiduciary stewards of the public money, we decided, not to have alcohol-related businesses, and then retail and restaurants are, again, probably the riskiest businesses, especially for new ones to underwrite there. Now we're, 25 years later here as far as that money. Do we want to have a discussion to revisit it? Because Joyce, Lorene, and I, one of the questions that we get from people is they would like to see more retail and commercial businesses in our community. So is there something that we should change or focus on? And then in each of our tax increment districts right now, TID number 16 in Southdale, TID number 10 North Fishhatchery Road, and TID 17 on the west side along Verona Road. We do have language in the TID project plans about kind of establishing an entrepreneurship or small business program to try and support neighborhood businesses and also diverse businesses. We haven't done anything on that yet just because we've been really busy with other things, but that is something that we would like to also start to think about, and maybe there's some additional resources that are brought together. So as you review the guidelines, if you could just kind of, look at it through that lens and perspective, is there some kind of modifications or change that we should, consider and make? In this particular situation, it's a little unique in that the previous ownership of this commercial center was an out-of-state entity, and unfortunately, they did not keep current with a lot of capital improvement items in their development, and a list has piled up. The new ownership is doing great as far as checking those items off the list and reinvesting in the property. But in this particular situation with the business, the ownership of the commercial center is trying to straddle, okay, we need to do those improvements from a kind of a placemaking standpoint to make sure it's a quality place on the outside. But then there's also kind of a request for some upgrades and modifications in the interior space, because again, it's 20-some years old, to modernize, freshen not only the kind of the look of the place, but also a lot of the infrastructure that would go with a restaurant and kind of beverage establishment there.
And
How is this? Go ahead.
I'll just echo what's been said, that since when we kind of capitalized the fund, we were getting a lot of restaurant requests. Yeah. And so then the decision was made to just have a policy saying no restaurants. I guess I'll just note that, as Dan pointed out, I think the very last restaurant we had come in before we implemented the policy is still in existence. Mm-hmm. It's been probably 15 plus years, and they're still around. Yeah. And then immediately after that, I think we gave a loan to a tech company who defaulted on it and moved the equipment that we paid for out of country, so we couldn't get it back. Yeah. I think it is time to revisit that. I did have one quick question for Joyce, though. When we did the COVID modification of the revolving loan, that was not limited to, was that open to all businesses? Or, because I thought restaurants could use it then, just to kind of reinforce your point that we did make loans to restaurants and they were good about paying us back.
Yeah, I think it was more that we provided some seed money for changing their business model, so there was a lot more carry-out restaurants, that type of thing, where they had to have a different type of inventory than what they were used to. So, it was very successful, and I think most of our loans were to restaurants. I can't think of.
There was I would have to. Business over here.
What's that?
There was a landscaping business over there. Hate, wasn't it?
Oh no, that was a
small engine.
He repaired engines and
Hate
lawnmowers and stuff like that. But the majority of them were restaurants. I could provide you a list of the ones that we gave if you're interested. But very
that was really
successful.
a lifeline for them at that period. We could have lost them.
How is this sort of advertised, for lack of a better word? Is it just
it's on our website? And
okay.
when we talk to people, we share that it's there.
So businesses know about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's more of a kind of a one-on-one when we're sitting down with somebody that's kind of looking at Fitchburg or looking to expand, and they're asking about assistance, or even if they don't ask, we kind of mention to them that's available in our toolkit for them.
I did a little research too, and I think that the center itself might be eligible for a Vital Spaces grant, but I need to do some more work on that. So maybe we could layer our finances for this project, because there's a lot of deferred maintenance, both inside and outside, that needs to be addressed.
And that Vibrant Places and Spaces grant, that's actually through WEDC, the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation. And one thing we will say is they've been really good partners with us. They've got a different program called the Community Development Investment Grant Program, which is typically for businesses that are in a traditional downtown. And so we've been communicating to WEDC through the years, hey, don't forget about communities like Fitchburg that don't have the traditional downtown, because we have commercial centers where we have needs too. And we just got word yesterday that the UPS store just signed their grant through that program. So that's the first one that we've been able to qualify for that program for $250,000. Yeah, which was, again, critical for the financing and the capital stack there to drive that project and their expansion up on Fish Hatchery Road. So that's something else we'd like to look into for other potential businesses in some of our commercial centers that maybe have needs.
Is there anything further on this topic? Otherwise, the information is in your packet, so please review it. And
When will we be talking about this? Will it be at the next meeting? Should we be prepared?
I'm going to say not the next meeting because it's Packer season and someone may be gone from that meeting. So I would
Someone
say...
has other priorities.
Yeah.
No, the next meeting is fine, because if I'm not here in person, I can at a minimum Zoom in. Yes. So the next meeting, let's plan to have it on the agenda and be prepared. But it is Packers season, so it's
right,
something to look forward to.
There's a Thursday game that week, isn't there?
Yeah, the 24th.
Because we're planning our RCC Bike and Ped event is going to be that weekend, because the Packers are not playing on Sunday. We could actually have the event on Sunday.
Good programming, you know.
Okay. Next item is the hotel room tax report considerations. Joyce handed out the information to everybody here in person.
And Nick, could I share my screen? Okay. Okay, thank you. So we've got the second quarter room tax is in and collected there. So as you can see, for the second quarter, we're at $218,834, which is just under 36% increase there. We had a 25% increase in Q1. What's driving the increase is, we've increased the rate to 8%, so it's a rate increase. But then now we're starting to see the benefit and impact of the new hotel, the Spring Hill Suites, with the 100-room inventory, and then they also have probably a higher average daily rate than our current hotel portfolio as well. So a really good kind of boost as far as the room tax dollars. So year to date, we're at like 325, 415. And then I'm going to just switch to and show you. So when we're already working on our 2027 budget. In fact, we submitted our budget proposal. We met with administration. Yesterday, we met with administration and the mayor. And so as part of that exercise, I always need to do our room tax projection. And we like to wait for the first and second quarter to be in to kind of see how we're trending. And then I kind of extrapolate out from there the third and the fourth quarter. So what I'm projecting for 2027 is total revenue of $697, and that's based off of Q1 and 2 actuals for 2026. And then in Q3 and Q4, I kind of took last year's numbers and did a 25% increase. So even though we had almost 36% increase in Q2, we had 25 in Q1. So I didn't want to be too aggressive, with it, but I think that is a healthy kind of projection. And then one thing that we always do, as you know, our Fitchburg Chamber is our official tourism entity. So 70% of the room tax dollars automatically flow to them. And that's proportional based on the revenue coming in. But then one thing that we do is in our public information and education account. That's kind of my account where we have certain things that are designated that we make commitments to, but we also leave a healthy undesignated balance there. So if for some reason, revenue comes in less, or, we're in a recession or something happens at one of the hotel properties where revenue is down, we can pivot and adjust, and we're not like overcommitted from a revenue standpoint there. So just wanted to kind of share that perspective from a budget standpoint. And like I said, our process is already in place for 2027. I'm looking ahead there. Any questions on the hotel room tax? We'll probably be coming forward with some requests. Joyce wants to update our kind of Fitchburg store and hotel and swag inventory. And then we're already starting to do some planning for the Fitchburg Business Appreciation Luncheon, and we have some ideas for a promo item that would be part of that event as well going forward there.
I just want to reaffirm with this group, for some of you that are new, probably, 10, 15 years ago, CETA had approved Mike to spend $2,500 for promotional items that he didn't have to come back to CETA for, as long as it was in the budget. So I just want to affirm that that's still a policy that you guys are okay with.
And some of the promo items, like our Fitchburg bags, pens, notebooks, is kind of some of our standard inventory. And then we usually have kind of a unique item that is around the Business Appreciation Luncheon. That might be a giveaway, for it.
So I won't be coming back for a request.
Okay. And Joyce is a very good shopper, so we get good prices, good value for our dollars.
And actually, I have a couple ideas that are on sale right now. So.
All right, are there any questions on the hotel room tax report? Okay. See nothing further there. Move on to 8, housing programs update with Lorraine.
And just wanted to say happy belated birthday to Lorraine. Her birthday was on Tuesday of this week.
Birthday.
Lorraine's been busy with multiple housing programs, so she's going to take us through one in particular to try and get some feedback and input, and then give some updates on the progress of other programs and where we're at with them.
Thank you as I work through my technical issues. So I am here, and actually I have Katie Bugaki also from the Senior Center. So I want to kind of talk about a new program that we're looking to implement. It wouldn't come through CETA because of the administration of this program would fall under $50,000, but I still want to present it to you to get your feedback. And any questions that you have. So I really would appreciate any feedback that you have regarding it. So it's called the Housing Stability Program. And from the Affordable Housing Fund, we already have $500,000 allocated actually for seniors homeowners. And when I presented this idea to both Jill and the caseworkers, they kind of indicated that there is a bigger need for our renters right now. They're just seeing a lot of one-time expenses that they're getting a lot of influx of people that are needing some support. So what I did is talk to the county human services department, and they have administered programs like this in the past. And so we're looking to partner with the county to do some administration of some of these kind of one-time funds for individuals that are 55 55 years old and older that kind of fall under the 60% AMI. And so we'll kind of talk a little bit, and Katie's kind of share a little bit of what she's seen in the community, but we're really finding that this is an important need for housing stability. This also was vetted with Axley, and then Chad, our administrator, and then internally through staff. But if this is, a funding pot that can help support our residents, I think let's utilize it to move forward. Katie, do you want to talk a little bit about what the needs that you're seeing in the community?
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I can maybe give a couple examples just this week. So I have a woman who she's in her 70s, has a broken hip, and needs to exit her building. She lives in an apartment complex with 3 stairs to get out of the building, and she's in a wheelchair. So she called me on Monday and said, hey, I have a ton of doctor's appointments, one on Thursday. I can't leave my apartment. I was thinking how amazing it would be if we had this funding to be able to get a temporary ramp for her to be able to leave. It's going to be really difficult. She's got PT, she's got different surgery follow-ups, and she is completely stuck. This isn't a property management. This is just an individual owner who owns this building. He's aware, he's trying to get a ramp, but we cannot get one built in time. Temporary ramps are like about $400. So it would be amazing if we could get her to be able to get to her medical appointments. So that's just one that came up this week. We've got a lot of issues with people not being able to afford security deposits, being able to move. We had a woman earlier this summer. She was in her late 60s, sleeping on her granddaughter's couch for the past year while she was waiting on wait lists to get into subsidized housing. She was able to get in, but she didn't have a bed. She didn't have any of those like one-time basic household items to like a shower curtain, things like that. She could not afford that because all of her money went into her security deposit. She couldn't afford to move there. Any of her items she couldn't get over there. Her family didn't have a vehicle to be able to like physically get her into housing. We're seeing a lot of issues. I mean, literally every day, my entire day today is going to be helping a couple women try to figure out security deposits, packers, movers, to be able to get them into more affordable housing. So there's a high need for older adults who are needing like a one-time assistance. There's a ton of red tape with the resources we have right now, and nothing happens in any time of timeline that is realistic to actually help these people. So that's just some of the things that we're encountering over at the Senior Center.
Thank you, Katie. So what we decided, again, out of that $500,000 pot of money, to kind of do a pilot program. So using about $100,000 of that funding. And then also we would also need to pay it for administrative costs through the county, and that is still being worked out at this point. It would be up to $1,000 maximum assistance, and it would be a one-time assistance. Again, it's for individuals that are age 55 years old and under, or 60% AMI and below. They are Fitchburg renter households that are needing one-time assistance to stay within Fitchburg. So again, as kind of Katie mentioned, if it's a security deposit, is to move from one property in Fitchburg to another property in Fitchburg, so the dollars stay here. And then we're, looking to kind of launch this in fall once things are kind of worked out again through the county. So again, when we talked with Axley, there are just some things that, it has to fall under affordable housing. It cannot be used for anything outside of housing. So things such as security deposits, a utility deposit arrears, moving costs, application fees, or essential furniture. And you have to demonstrate that it is a need, an emergency. And then this is kind of falls under, like HUD has a program similar to this. We would kind of follow their guidelines with that. So all individuals that are looking to apply, they would have to go through the caseworker. They could not individually apply. Again, then the caseworker would look for other programs that are out there. If they are not able to find any funding, then this would kind of be the last resort. And then that then would go to the county. The county would again do additional checks and balances with this, and then proceed with the administering of the funding. So monthly reporting would happen. We would get, regular audits of the program, and then we would have an allocated account that would have the $100,000 in it, so they can administer those funds. And that's kind of the gist of the program. Are there any questions?
So this is just for renters?
Just for renters at this point. Would we look to do other, homeowners as well, possibly? This is just like, a pilot program for the renters.
The 500,000 designation for this originally started out with the idea from the mayor of how do we help seniors stay in their homes? But then Lorraine's conversations with the senior center identified this is a more pressing and urgent and critical need. So then we kind of pivoted based on what we were hearing from the senior center team. And it's really to prevent the risk of homelessness for folks and to maybe help people get into housing that don't have housing. And then one other thing I would just mention, we mentioned Axley a couple of times, working with administration. We have them on retainer that we can vet some of our housing programs through them as we're putting them together. So that's why when you hear us mention Axley, our city attorney is again over capacity at this point in time, so we needed some additional legal services and went through an RFP process. So that's why we're using Axley to help us vet some of these and establish the program parameters.
This may be a question for Katie. You talked a little about the kind of like red tape of some of these programs. So if you use the wheelchair ramp as an example, if you kind of went through the process with that, like through the county and then through the caseworker and then looking at other programs and then ultimately to this, if it were to come to that, how long of a kind of burden would that take on the person? How long would they be waiting, ideally?
So right now, there's Project Home. There's a few different programs to help people with accessibility. That can take months. Her need is kind of short term and it's immediate. And she didn't, I didn't learn about this until on Monday. So it would take a very long time. I'd have to go through the application process. There, a lot of time the funding is not there. So I guess I don't know exactly how long it would take, but it would be much longer than the immediate need that she has now to be able to exit her apartment.
I guess that leads to my next question. So if you were saying this is kind of like after everything else has been exhausted, is there a way to, we need to get this person this thing immediately. Like, is there a way for that caseworker to say, we're going to skip ahead to the Fitchburg program and get this person what they need?
I think we can build that into the program, yeah. If it's a timeline that doesn't fit for, if it's a critical need, I think definitely we can expedite that because the purpose of this is emergency. So if it's an emergency and they cannot wait the 6 months or whatever period it would take for that, I think that could be, in this program.
That'd be great.
And I think that's why the way Lorraine is proposing to structure it is to work it through the caseworker to help us make that kind of evaluation and determination.
And how would requests be prioritized? If there's, let's say you get 15 requests and How do you have some sort of system for prioritizing, addressing, granting that money?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, or, yeah.
I think it would probably be based on the urgency and the amount. I guess I don't know what the process is going to be to make, if there's like a tier 1 or tier 2, to be able to get the funding. Usually when there's a situation that comes up as caseworkers, we work through until we can get it solved. And I guess as it comes up is how I would start asking for the money.
And those are some of those details that are still being worked out through the county. Again, they have a program in place that they do this on a regular basis, so those kind of things will be kind of vetted. Correct.
Katie, I have one quick question. So this person that's in the wheelchair, will you go in and also look for other things that they may need just to be, since they're there? Because I can see that they're probably going to need like grab bars to help get in, use the facilities and things like that. I mean, because a ramp is one thing to get her out, but it seems like there's other things within her unit that she would need. Would that be something too that you would want to address through this program? Because it seems to me that would be the emergency.
I'll kind of jump in on that. So again, the maximum amount is $1,000. So if it doesn't exceed that, then yes, but we could not exceed that amount.
And to answer your question, yes, I would. I mean, there's a lot of different things that she could use and need, but right now, just as this example, that is the urgent one. Yeah, there's a lot of wraparound care that I'll be working with her over the next several months to years to make sure that she can stay independent in her home. But right now, my focus is just being able to get her out of her place to get medical care.
Another key thing that I think will be important, especially with the pilot program, since everything will be, automated, we can get data from this so that we understand what the need is a little bit better, and then Katie and her team can present that data of what they're seeing out there.
And I guess I'll be curious to see the type of utilization, and I know it's $100,000 and $1,000 each, so help 100 people. I guess maybe this is directed more towards the council members of if this is successful, just to make sure that if we're getting to a point where we're depleting funds, that I guess as much as I'd like to have this program, and I think it's a great idea, I also don't want to start a program, have it going, and then all of a sudden we run out of money, and now people are in the lurch thinking that this was something that was available. And so, again, I hope we do use up all the money because I think it means we're helping people, but just in the larger scheme of the budget in the city, I know money's tight, but this seems like it would be a worthwhile project, especially if we are going through money. Okay.
Thank you, Katie.
Thanks, Katie.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm still on. All right. Couple things. One, I think you all received a PowerPoint presentation of the Wisconsin tax incremental finance law changes. So they are 2 laws or acts that have passed and will be implemented in January of next year. I won't get into all of those details, but kind of the main takeaways. Act 173 is the affordable housing extension. So just again, sometimes we use a lot of acronyms. So again, TID is tax incremental district. It's the geographic district, and TIF is the financing mechanism that is used in those geographic districts. Act 173 again, currently right now, we are able to extend the TID up to 1 year. Now this act will allow us to extend it for 2 years. And then it's 75% of the minimum of extension increment used to benefit affordable housing. So this is really great tool that we can use now for affordable housing. And then Act 235, which is also known as RTID, it's a residential TID that allows us to create a TID for owner-occupied single-family homes and then duplex units. And then the maximum life of that is 20 years. And I know that's something that we're looking to possibly do with a future development here. So this is another great tool that we have. But again, this is really only for single-family homes. This cannot be used for multifamily. No rental. Yeah. All right. Are there any questions about those, or?
I guess one, and probably don't have an answer, but on Act 173, do we have just like a back of the napkin, how much more money would we have gotten into the housing fund had that been in effect, other than probably double, since it would be 2 years instead of 1?
Yeah, we haven't done that calculation, but with the ones that we did keep open just for a year, you know, they capitalized us at about $10 million. The other $500,000 really has kind of been generated from the interest we've accrued on those funds, but $10 million initially for 1 year. So add something to our toolkit, and it's action that the extension doesn't happen automatically. It still goes to the council and there's a formal resolution that is considered for that extension to take place.
We probably don't have another TID district that's going to close for at least 10 years, if maybe more. So don't get too excited about it.
So the conditions that Mike talked about, so the municipality must adopt a resolution, then they need to specify the extension. They'll need to state how the funds will improve the housing stock and provide the resolution to the Department of Revenue, and use at least 75% of the extension increment to benefit affordable housing. So there's a lot of conditions in place just to move forward. So it's not just an easy.
And Lorene, as part of that legislation too, they also kind of clarified the definition for affordable housing, right? At no more than 30% as far as the cost of housing, because that was a gray area in the original legislation.
Okay, and then lastly is just some updates in the housing area. So thanks to Dan and all of my barrage of emails and questions, we are completed the LURAs, and now we're starting the process of notarizing those LURAs. Once those are notarized, then they can start the work. So pretty soon. So again, thank you for all of your patience and help with this, Dan. And then also for down payment assistance, that's still in the works. We're still working with the county in regards to administrative fees. So if that is something that is agreeable on both the staff and county side, then that would be moving forward with the county. So I'll keep you posted on that. And then CDBG, oh, that was a heavy lift, but we finally made it. We just had some questions on insurance, in which were great questions, so we kind of made an agreement in regards to that. So contract has been signed, and then the next step would be an RFP process that we would go ahead and look for developers that would participate in that. So that will be starting pretty soon. So sometime in the fall, we'll start that RFP process and then move forward. So this is, again, will need to be completed by 2030, and these are single-family homes that need to be built for affordable housing for individuals that are 80% and below the area median income. So we're really excited about this project. And again, the CDBG part was the $600,000 for infrastructure, and then we're leveraging additional funding as well.
And under that program, we'll be leveraging probably $1 million out of our land acquisition fund as part of that particular program, and then leveraging the $600,000 additional to help with the infrastructure for a particular development. But as Lorene indicated, there will be an RFP process for various development entities to apply for as part of that process.
Do we have a short list of potentials?
It's an RFP process, so everyone's
Okay.
Just say that there's interest out there.
Yes,
interested parties.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, and that is it from, I'm sorry, actually one more thing. We did a housing tour, and Jenny, would you like to share a little bit about your experience at the housing tour?
Yeah, so August 10th, the Housing Advisory Committee went on a tour. We started out at the Quarry Ridge Retirement Community, which is the development right behind the Target. Did a tour, and what a beautiful, it's like a 5-star resort. And very impressive. So that was really nice. Got a good idea of the quality of life, I think, that people will have living in that. And I can't remember if they said they were at capacity or there's not a lot of available space.
There was a wait list, I
believe.
believe.
I think there was.
Yep.
So that was really great. And then we went across the street to the Limestone Ridge workforce housing complex, and again, I think they were at capacity with a wait list also, so clearly a need, but what a beautiful building. You were there, right? Yeah. And then we went across to the other Quarry Ridge. This is Corey Frank's Texas Wrap that is completed and almost full, I think. And that, again, beautiful, beautiful building, kind of tucked behind the quarry there. So, yeah, it was really, really a very good tour. Clearly, the need is there, so we need to keep building. But, yeah, that's about it.
I think with Corey Frank's building, they just opened, and they're already at 97% leased at this point in time. Because we get a lot of questions in the community of, do we need more apartments and market rate apartments? And I think there again, our inventory continues to lease up, whether it's on the west side, Fish Hatchery Road, or the east side, Fitchburg, as we try and get the market back into some level of equilibrium. But tour was great because it showed us 3 different product types for different segments, both economically and demographically and age. But a need in all of those categories, continues to exist as far as the wait lists that they have and then the lease-up activity that is occurring.
And I think what stood out to me was the focus on lifestyle. So it's not just an apartment building with an apartment that you live in. Yeah. There's a lifestyle element to all of these places, which I thought was really nice. From pools to movie rooms to workout facilities, and so just really nice. So.
Okay, thank you, Lorene. We'll move on to agenda item number 9, Economic Development Director and Committee Member Reports. Take it away, Mike.
Okay, I can just kick off a few updates here. Forward Fitchburg continues to progress. We completed our roundtables that we had, and so Vanderwall and Associates is taking that input, and then we'll be getting a summary from them, and hopefully that will lead to a strategy team meeting with the group that's guiding that process. But then we want to bring the larger group back that included inviting all the council members and everything They were there at the initial one, so we'll be coming back and kind of sharing some of the findings and the information that was gathered and kind of do a pulse check to see if the information that's been gathered and the feedback that we've got to maybe even the start of some recommendations for strategies kind of resonate to make sense based on what we've heard for it. So we'll keep you posted on that process going forward. And then from a development standpoint, Jamestown Quarry just starting on the west side. The 4 across the front there, my understanding is McDonald's, I think, got their occupancy permit yesterday. So you'll start to see those 4 kind of progress with openings. My understanding is Chick-fil-A is probably going to be sometime right after Labor Day, and then followed by Chase Bank, and then Crew Car Wash will probably be the last one there for the 4 across the front. And then on the north end of that property, significant dirt is being moved with the success of Corey Frank's first building, the Jamestown Quarry Apartments. He is starting on the second building. The first one was 273 units. The second one now is going to be 290 units on the north end. Then in between is the projected retail center that our understanding now is probably going to be closer to 80,000 square feet. And Joyce, Chad, our city administrator, and I have a call with that developer at 9 o'clock this morning to get the latest update on that project. But that is going to hopefully include some retail commercial tenants as well as a specialty grocer to be named later as part of that development. Then on Fish Hatchery Road, if you've been driving down that corridor, the UPS store is starting to take shape and frame the corner. And again, thanks to Melissa and Sam for working on that project. It follows the vision that we have been trying to accomplish with the North Fish Hatchery Road study, and it really is going to frame that corner. And again, the good news yesterday that they got the CDI grant to keep that project going forward. Then if you look on the west side of the road, Bowman Plaza is being dismantled, the old building there at this point in time. And that project also involves some of the parking lot improvements for the church development on the north side. With that one, it's interesting how supply, delivery issues, world events impact even local projects there. So there's the church has a little bit of a delay with some cladding that they need for the siding as part of that project. And then we've just been in conversations with Ned, who's doing the Bowman Plaza, with the delays in delivery of precast concrete because of shipping, delivery, and also with the data center demand that's out there for that particular product. So it's just interesting how various factors can impact even some of our local projects as we try to keep them moving forward and progressing. So we've been in a lot of communication and conversations and updates with people to do what we can to help move things forward where we actually have some impact or involvement on those. But hopefully that continues in that corridor. Then on the east side, yesterday was just a wonderful ribbon cutting event at Gigi's Playhouse for their clubhouse over there that provides services for families with Down syndrome individuals. Just a great turnout. Even Governor U-verse was there because the state had some money in that project as well, and a beautiful facility. So what a wonderful group and partnership to have in our community. Then Terra Vesa is doing phase 5. This is the 5th and final phase of that development. And then this fall, we will see hopefully the groundbreaking for the Cesta, the senior housing development, and the big kind of piece of land in the quad there that's remaining. That'll be independent assisted living memory care on that project. And then if you've been in uptown Fitchburg lately, where the Arlo Apartments and the Russ DB is, you see a lot of dirt being moved to the north of that. Avante is starting to mobilize for that area. There's a north-south road extension that'll happen between East Sherrill Parkway and Central Park Place called Stanley Park Place. And then we just met with them a week ago. There will be a building that they'll start in the spring just north of the Arlo. That'll be approximately a 59-unit apartment building. Yes, but that'll start to open up on the east and west sides of Stanley Park Place. There will be lots for additional housing product west of Stanley Park Place, hopefully east of Stanley Park Place. We will hopefully see some mixed use that will front along Lacey Road there as you're coming down. So some good activity happening over there. And then UW Health, Meritor, Lifeline, Rehabilitation Hospital continues to progress really well. And then the Lido Apartments right at the corner of the roundabout, the Sherrill and Lacey Road, is Avante's latest project. So really good activity. In fact, we just met with Smart Growth Greater Madison, and people that haven't driven down the Highway 14 corridor lately are like, wow, there's really a lot happening. And then if you continue south into Hartung Fields, there's the second multifamily building that Ragtag Ventures is doing, the Rowan Apartments there. So just some really good activity along that whole corridor for us. Then the last thing I'll mention is Joyce has been starting to do some planning and work, and I'll let her talk about that for the business luncheon, hopefully in early November sometime. I think those are all the projects, and I'll turn it over to Joyce, and then we can also have Lorene if there's additional updates. No? Okay. Joyce, you got anything?
Yep, I'm working on the business lunch.
Yeah.
We have a great idea for our presentation, so I have feelers out to some possible speakers. I don't want to say too much because I like to have the little element of surprise, but we're going to be looking at probably the second or third week in November, and it'll be at the BTC.
We're kind of staying away from the first week because there's the election on Tuesday, so we figure it's probably better second or third.
That's it for me. I guess we have a business after 5 coming, or business after hours, I guess it's called now, on September 15th at the Hop House.
Yeah.
Is that where it's at?
No, I think that was the last one. It's at the Fowler.
Oh, at the Fowler.
I think this one is the Fowler.
So hopefully you guys can make it there. That's a great event center.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I want to just mention, if you know of anybody that's interested in working on the comp plan work group, the deadline for submitting an application is Sunday evening. So if you know of anybody that's, would like to work on that, they can find the application online. I think that's it.
It's our planning colleagues have launched the major comp plan update. That'll also lead into a zoning code and sign code rewrite. So the working group will help guide that process over the next 18 to 24 months.
All right, thank you. We do have the venture debt program. Is there any update?
We have not had a meeting for 5 months.
Okay. And then any CETA subcommittee reports? I don't believe we have any. Okay, move on to item 10, which is announcements. Our next meeting will be Thursday, September 24th. Hopefully we'll see everybody there. If there are no further announcements, move on to item number 11, which is adjournment. Do we have a motion?
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.